Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to really translate anything skill-wise, but I think having good relationships with your teammates is super important. I think
But she's certainly not helping the situation at all. Christie Sides, that is. It's her job to be able to draw it up.
The Clark Show is in full swing, but is the supporting cast showing up? We're challenging you to spot the hidden problems in the Fever's game. Trust us, it's not just about the points on the board. Let's talk about pressure now. Imagine entering the floor to discover your players unable to create open shots, your coach under attack, and a rapidly dwindling 15-point advantage. Clark had to deal with that seriously. What was her response? The exciting part begins at that point. When Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, she had high hopes. The incredible kid was welcomed by the Indiana Fever, a team that has been struggling to establish itself. But Clark is no typical rookie. She is a player that has the ability to drastically change the outcome of a match with her skill and determination. But the reality still stands. Clark's Fever experience has not been without difficulties. The team just won against the Dream, building a decisive lead of 15 points. Wouldn't you think that would be enough to win with ease? Untrue. The Fever was beginning to sputter, and that comfortable cushion was growing thinner. Now, maybe you're wondering what's producing the Fever problems right now. There are multiple problems. Clark's teammates were missing easy shots left and right. It's as if they could not hit the broadside of a barn. You are also under a lot of pressure to create offense in the event that your teammates are unable to convert. Still, there's more. The Fever's coach, Christie Sides, is feeling the heat. When your team struggles to maintain leads and win games, all eyes are on the coach. Any coach would find this to be a difficult period, let alone one who is trying to integrate a well-known rookie.
Christie Sides has gone back to messy rotations that make no sense and lineups that don't work. She is a terrible coach.
Then picture yourself as Caitlin Clark. Your team is having trouble, the pressure is mounting, and you're trying to live up to the expectations. What steps do you take next? Most inexperienced people would undoubtedly crumble under that kind of pressure. But Clark? Her build is distinct. With all of these challenges, Clark was still able to score 19 points on the Dream. That's not just wonderful, it's amazing. What's even more incredible is how she managed to do it. Clark has an incredible rim percentage of 60.4%. That's not just proficient in basketball terms, but exceptionally so. Think about it. Your players are struggling to make shots, the coach is under pressure, and the lead is dwindling. Most players would begin to overextend themselves and attempt unnatural shots. Not Clark, that is. She took use of her opportunity and remained composed under pressure. This performance shows why Clark is more than simply a rookie. He has the makings of a star. She is a player who can step up her game when her team most needs it. When the chips are down, it matters not just how many points she scores, but also how many. But Clark has an impact that goes beyond just her score. She could find her teammates with precise passes, even when they weren't present. She wants to better everyone around her, in addition to getting her own way. It is rare to find in a novice, and is the mark of a good leader. Clark is undoubtedly talented, but talent alone will not bring in titles. The Fever are facing a well-known sports paradox, a talented rookie on a young team just starting to get traction. How can one build a contender around a phenomenon? That's the million-dollar question that the Fever are trying to answer. You would think that having a player like Caitlin Clark would ensure incredible shows every single evening. Basketball, though, is a team sport. This young team has some serious developmental issues, as the Indiana Fever's recent game against the Dream highlighted. Please set the setting. There was a lot of excitement in the sold-out arena, which held 17,600 people. The Fever jumped up to an early lead of 15 points. Standing, the audience thought they would witness a blowout, but after that, everything changed. That lead started to fade as the Dream exposed weaknesses in the Fever's defenses.
good basketball. They're almost cheering for both teams, it feels like. They're all standing up there at the end. So it's like still a very intense basketball environment.
Suddenly, it was more than just a fantastic play by Clark. The other team members came into sight, and the outcome wasn't very pleasing. First is the bench. In basketball, depth is everything. Your starters aren't able to play the entire game, so you rely on your backups to contribute heavily. Still, in this specific game, the Fever's seat was quieter than a library on a Sunday morning. Little impact, little solace for the beginning players. Lexi Hall is up next. She started the game on the bench, which is not a recommended method for rhythm development. When she played, her attacking strategy was insufficient. Hall was unable to locate her shooting, so Clark and the other starters had to shoulder an even greater portion of the scoring load. Hold on, things get worse. Nalissa Smith seems to have reached a breaking point. Despite early season signs of potential, she was not making shots or grabbing rebounds as frequently as she once did. In basketball words, she's become a liability, someone the opposing team doesn't have to worry about. So picture this. Clark is giving it his all and giving buckets and dimes. What occurs, though, when she shoots a teammate in the eye? Clank. When is the next time she needs someone to grab a crucial rebound? Crickets. It's like watching a maestro conduct an orchestra while half the instruments are not in tune. However, this is more than just a case of missed shots. All of the players of a good basketball team have a rhythm and flow to their play, but at the moment, the Fever Sheet music is a total mess. The ball always finds its way back to Clark because no one else can create offense, even when she makes a spectacular play. Maybe you're thinking, well, if Clark's so good, can't she just take over the game? Actually, it's not that simple. Not even the greatest athletes in history could succeed without a team. Michael Jordan was with Scottie Pippen. LeBron James was with Dwyane Wade. Basketball is a team sport, thus no matter how good a player is, they cannot win by themselves. The silver lining in all of this is that Clark's influence is still felt strongly. Despite all of these challenges, she is elevating the team's performance. Her court vision, scoring prowess, and leadership are all on display every night. And the supporters? What about them? They can't eat enough. The arena is packed, and there's a lot of excitement about Clark. You would think that having a talented rookie like Caitlin Clark would solve all of Indiana Fever's problems. But what if the biggest obstacle is not on the court, but rather on the sidelines? Despite Clark's dominance on the scoreboard, there are whispers starting to surface about who the team's coach will be. Let's talk about Christie Sides now. She is the one who makes all of the Fever's decisions, but lately, her choices haven't gone so well. Fans are posing some thought-provoking question.
Is the inability to have a sound game plan coming into the game and an inability to make adjustments at halftime. That's a problem.
Why does the team seem to be getting tired in the second half of the match? Why can't they defeat teams that are supposed to be defeated? It's like watching a fully charged car suddenly stall in the middle of a race. The Fever clearly possess talent. Clark is dribbling baskets and dimes with seeming indifference. This is where things become tricky though. Talent need direction. Critics are pointing out that with the roster they have, the Fever should be more competitive. Instead, they're watching leads melt away faster than ice cream on a hot summer's day. This is the really interesting bit. The Fever typically manifests against really strong opponents. They'll get out to a quick start, look like world beaters, and take the lead. But by the time the second half rolls around, it appears like everyone on the team has hit the snooze button. The lead suddenly loses its energy and concentration and disappears with the wind.
But she's certainly not helping the situation at all. Christie Sides, that is. It's her job to be able to draw it up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to really translate anything skill-wise, but I think having good relationships with your teammates is super important. I think.
Isn't the coach's job to keep the team motivated and focused? You might be wondering. That's precisely what gets people talking. Concern that Sides isn't adjusting properly when it matters most is growing. She appears to have everything you would need for an elegant meal, but she can't seem to use the stove. However, the issue with coaching is still ongoing. It need more than just drive. Planning is crucial as well. People are baffled as to why Clark doesn't contribute more to the offensive process during such a dire situation. One of your players has magical abilities with the ball, but sometimes it feels like she's just a prop rather than the main attraction. So what does a rookie superstar do in situations like these? This is where Clark's true value is revealed. She is still able to adapt and contribute despite the coaching setbacks. It's like seeing a chess expert play on an unstable board. She's not letting the situation rule her, she's changing her strategy to it. Here, Clark's leadership ability is well displayed. She's not only getting points, she's setting an example. When spirits are low, it's her who tries to rally the group. When plays don't work out, she's making things happen. This specific kind of resilience cannot be taught, it is intrinsic, but more importantly, how long can Clark keep acting in this way? Regardless of a player's aptitude or commitment, a robust system is required for them to thrive. In order to reach your maximum potential, you eventually need the right conditions, much like when you try to grow a prize-winning rose in stony soil. The Fever's front staff has some tough decisions to make. They've hit gold with Clark, but now they need to make sure they don't blow this opportunity, not only for this season, but for the long run. It's about setting the foundation for success. And to achieve so, you have to look attentively at every player on the team, even the coach.